Okay, NXT REvolution, or Revolution, since it was capital R, capital E, so it's not just a thing that I do. This is another one of the NXT live events, so essentially their version of pay-per-view, available on the WWE Network for an undisclosed monthly sum. And out of everyone they've done, they have yet to disappoint at all. This night, 6 matches, all of them very good, proper amounts of build-up, very great in-ring performance. The last 2 matches, which were title matches, their NXT Divas belt and the championship match, were given an hour. And the Divas match was given pretty much 20 minutes. And it was a good, fantastic, but I'm going to go through this one by one. I'm beginning with Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen. So yes, another guy with the name of KO. Took on CJ Parker. It's kind of their Greenpeace hippie sort of guy. You can tell Kevin is bulked up some. He still has more of like a Samoan build, but came out, hits great moves, cannonball in the corner, did it off the top rope, like flipping senton to the outside. Just, crowd was going nuts. CJ got him some offense, which is weird, because normally CJ gets killed against the majority of people he's facing. CJ got him some offense, went for the high palm strike. Looks like he might have broke Owens' nose. Owens then hit, I'm just going to describe this. He was really, Kevin Steen did a lot of package moves, where he put the guy up essentially in what looks like a package and then drive the guy down to the ground. So they did one was package neck breakers on CJ Parker to his knee. Sick move. I was like, man, they let him do that? Or is that one of those, I think you broke my nose, I'm going to kill you now. And then hit a beautiful, like flapjack powerbomb. Just beautiful. And the fact that he stands with his nose is bleeding, wipes it on himself, and just, crowd went nuts. He has arrived, and he's arrived in style. He smashed that wall down. Beautiful. Lucha Dragons, which is Kalisto and Sin Cara, took in the Vaudevillains. Good match, nice back and forth. You had that really great clash of styles. You had more of the strongman brawling style of the Vaudevillains, and just flat out lucha on Lucha Dragons. High flying, high intensity. Great match. Lucha's retained. Baron Corbin, who at the last one he took on CJ Parker, that was essentially his debut, and his finisher at the end of days is just fantastic. Since his matches were really short, the crowd kind of gave him the gimmick that they count on his matches. He took on Ty Dillinger. If you have the Triple H workout DVD, he's one of the guys that's in there. And like a 40-second long match. So we got to see a lot more offense from Baron Corbin, as well as see him take up moves from Ty Dillinger. Baron Corbin knows, they know exactly what to do with him. He is a short, intense, vicious man. The guy screams it factor. You could take some of his it factor and give him to Cesaro, and Cesaro would be like a 4-time champion now. And Baron Corbin would still have enough it factor to make it on his own. You could put Baron Corbin into a stable of Canadian technical wrestlers, and they'd all be like The Rock. He's got that much it factor. Short match, to the point, worked. As he was leaving, he locked eyes with my wife's favorite NXT wrestler, Bull Dempsey. Bull Dempsey, old school, big dude, brawling style. The crowd has now started to count when Bull Dempsey's having a match, because they're putting Baron Corbin match and then a Bull Dempsey match, back to back. And it's like they're doing one of those. Then the crowd's just seeing these two guys. We got 2 vicious bulls. I think that'll work. Crowd's eating it up like crazy. Now we get to part of our triple main event. Hideo Itami, Kenta, and Finn Balor, who was a Prince Devitt, taking on the Ascension. Finn Balor mentioned he was in ring something they'd never seen before. His intro was different. He came out in what I referred to as Venom makeup. So he had like the teeth done across his neck. So when he went like this, like he had like a giant maw, like something you could see off of Face Off, or a really fantastic cosplayer doing a great job as Venom. They gave him a slight change in music as he came down to the ring. He had like black and red face paint, the giant white teeth, like the root going down his back. Just awe-inspiring. I mean, easily some of the best makeup works. I'd probably say that surpasses almost anything that Jeff Hardy has done. Even the painting the eyes on the eyes thing. Just amazing. And those four guys put on a ridiculous match. With Balor and Tommy getting the victory off of double flying foot stomps. Just, and I was like, how in the world do you top that match? Charlotte and Sasha Banks put on easily the best Divas match I've seen this year. And probably one of the only actually had one spot that was a botch. Looks like they were doing one of the, kind of like the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker into a Hurricane Rana, what they then try to reverse into a backstabber, all in one motion. You can tell that I think that, Charlotte was just off like a half step, so it was, Sasha Banks trying to do all of her rotation around it. It didn't quite sync up just perfectly. But they were able to recover and still get the move to come off. You could tell they weren't, as well as moves where like, it requires perfect precision timing. You could tell they were like a quarter to a half second off. It just didn't look right. The rest of the match absolutely flawless. And the fact that they were able to build up for that match, that made that title seem so much more important than anything at the Divas belt for almost like the entire year. And that one little vignette, and the little spots where it's like, you have the title, I want it, it's mine. Great match. Really fantastic back and forth. They really showed that a smaller person like Sasha Banks, who is a tremendous ring general, can throw in a lot of moves, really great moves, or technical moves, and put on a really great match and almost dominate a much larger opponent, make it seem believable. With like kind of dirty, kind of grimy moves, very, very heel-like, but just beautifully done. Sasha, of course, retained. Now we get to the main event. Sami Zayn, Adrian L for it's title. It's a career versus title. They had done a beautiful job building this up. Sami Zayn really can't win the big match. So he was putting it all on the line to get that title. I'm looking at it going, man, if done just right, you could take the exact same scenario and use it with Cesaro. Cesaro doesn't win that many matches. Puts on great matches. Doesn't win that many of them. That'd be an awesome storyline for Cesaro. Adrian, when he beat Bo Dallas for the title, was super overfaced. When he had his feud with Brodus Clay, super overfaced. When he fought Tyson Kidd, super over. Tyler Breeze. He did a couple of heelish things to make sure Zayn could win the belt. The crowd was so behind Sami. It was a handicap match. It was Sami Zayn and the crowd versus Adrian Neville. And perfect amount of false finishes. Great use of ref bumps. And you could tell the crowd was just into this match. When your chants are, let's go Sami and Neville sucks. Like, that was it. It was just perfect. When it came to some of the spots they did where you're like, 1 and 2, no! Oh, man! I finished doing my Triple H mobility workout and I just kind of sat there. It's like, my wife's like, doing some shopping. Do I go get the phone? No. Do I get the iPad? No. Wrestling. Legitimate, awesome wrestling. So 6 matches, 2 hours, virtually no filler. What they did was they would show you a couple minutes of stuff to build up the match. That was it. Replays just made sense. Only sad part about this whole event is that Corey Graves, really solid wrestler, great look. Couple concussions back to back, so now he's going to be part of their announce team, which includes Alex Riley. And they do a really solid announce team because they're talking about the match. It's all about the wrestling. It's not sports or anything, it's professional wrestling, and it's done so well that it blows my mind that I can watch these guys in a smaller venue go out there, put on an amazing match. They do just the right amount of storyline to have the matches mean something and be worth something. And then there's 3 hours of Raw, and they just can't seem to take one half of what NXT can do in an hour and do that on an episode of Raw. It makes me just really, really hope that, when Vince finally steps down, if H can take some of the guys that he's gone out and pretty much headhunted, that are some of the best talent available. With the exception, there's no AJ Styles, I know. Some of the best available talent that are younger guys that you can bring in. They can mold a little bit. I still will say I'm not a big fan of saying, Hideo Itami. I think they brought Miss Kenta. Do you keep Miss Kenta? Perfect. That's a name recognition. Prince Devitt, bring him as Finn Balor. Still works. He's got name recognition, not on the level of Kenta, but got name recognition. And you can look at him, that you can go forward with it. Kevin Owens, again, KO, there's your Cassius Ono reference, who was Chris Hero. But man, he came out and just owned the arena, which is good. That means if we can weather the transitional period we're in right now with the main roster, they have got a backlog of talent for the next decade.